welcome back to my channel, Read and Escape with Nina. So today I want to do something a little bit different. If you're wondering what I'm looking at my notes over here on my laptop. I want to do ask a booktuber some questions. So I did post. It wasn't a video. It was just a regular post on my channel, just saying, hey guys, I'm going to be doing a video where you can ask me any questions you want and I will answer them in the video. And I didn't get any responses from it. So I don't know if you guys didn't get the notifications or maybe I didn't do it right because this is my first time just making a post versus a video. So I'm not sure what happened there, but I just, you know what, Chat GPT is your friend. So I went there and it just generated some questions to ask a booktuber. So I'm just going to go through these questions and if you guys have any questions that are not on this list, feel free to just ask them in the video in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. I'm an open book when it comes to books. Um, okay, so I'm gonna do it in sections. There's one, two, three, four, five, six sections of questions. That's a lot. So I'll just be doing it in many parts and then just put it together in one whole video. But the first section is reading habits. And the first question is, what got you into reading in the first place? Um, I think I told this story one time before on one of my videos. Um, I had a reading comprehension issue when I was in elementary school. I could read and I could pronounce words very well, but I just couldn't understand what I was reading. So nothing in school that we were learning and reading and the subjects were interesting to me. So that made it even harder. So one day I went to the library, I picked up this book. I'll never forget the name of it. It's called Doll in the Garden. I picked it up, read it cover to cover, loved it, enjoyed reading. And I was like, oh, this is what it is. This is what it's about. And I haven't stopped reading since. Now, just within the last year, I say it was maybe early 2024, I really started reading even more. But I just always been a reader. I enjoy it. It just is a form of escapism for me. I feel like I'm just like diving into the story, especially when it's really good. So that's what got me into reading in the first place. The next question is, do you have a specific reading routine or favorite time of day to read? Um, I don't schedule it. I don't have a specific reading routine. Um, I can say I typically read the most at night because I'm at work during the day and I come home. I like to spend time with my kids, cook them dinner and things like that. And we hang out for a little bit. And once I'm just getting ready for bed, that's my time to read before I go to bed. So it's usually at night, but on the weekends when I have free time, if I feel like picking up the book and reading, I'll pick it up and read. But if I had to say favorite time, it would probably be at night. Okay, next question. How many books do you typically read in a month? I'm not one of those YouTubers that's trying to read 50 books a month. Some booktubers have this as their full time job. This is not my full time job. This is a hobby. This is something I like to do for fun. Um, I consider myself a pretty slow reader, but some people think I read fast. So I guess it just depends. I'm usually reading about 3 books at a time, 4 at the most. I never go over 4. So if I can finish a book in a week, I can probably, let's see, maybe about, I'm just going to average it to about 10 books, maybe 8 to 10 books. It's just hard to gauge it because sometimes if I'm reading a Stephen King book and it's 1,300 pages, then it's going to be hard for me to get in other little books too. So I'll just say on average 8 to 10 books. Okay. And then the last question in the reading habits section is, do you prefer physical books, ebooks, or audiobooks, and why? Okay. I'm a physical book girl because I like to have my own library and I like to hold and touch books and turn pages and things. but I have evolved. And I do love ebooks as well. So I have a Kindle, and at night, I don't have to use my little reading lamp. I can just pull it up on my tablet and read, and there's my source of light. And for some reason, it seems like when I'm reading an ebook, I read faster. I don't know, it just seems like you're just swiping that screen, you just go through it faster. So physical book girl, but I do love ebooks for the convenience and the lighting. And also, I recently got into audiobooks too. I was never like an audiobook person. I'm like, I just rather read it. But I love audiobooks. Audiobooks don't get enough credit. A lot of people feel like if somebody read a book via audiobook that they actually didn't read it. That is not true. You still have to comprehend it. You still have to know about the characters, the plot, and things like that. And it's very easy to miss when you're listening to an audiobook, and sometimes you have to go back. So you are reading when you're listening to an audiobook. I can't stand when people try to make it seem like that's not reading. But I recently got into that, and the reason why is because it's made it convenient to get some reading in now that I'm a tad bit busier. I can read when I'm cleaning up, I can read on my way to work, back from work, doing anything, you can constantly read. So that's why I like audiobooks. So technically I like all three, but if I had to pick, I'm a physical book girl first, then the ebook, and then audiobook. And there are some times when I'm reading them simultaneously. So I could be reading a physical book, and then I could have a book on my Kindle that I'm reading, and then I can also have an audio book that I'm listening to. So that would be my third book. And then, like I said, I usually do four books at one time. Then my fourth book is most likely a physical. So two physical, an ebook, and an audio book are my go-tos. It works. Yes, I can keep up with the plot in each one and what's happening. I don't know why I can do that, but I can. And I've tried to read just one book and nothing else. I get extremely bored. I get in a slump. I get agitated. I feel like it's not enough. So, four books at a time works for me. All right, we're going to move on to the next section. Next section is book preferences. Let's scroll down and look at this. And my dogs are in here with me. Y'all probably can't see it, but if you hear them, that's why they're in here just chilling out. This may be a way for them to be quiet versus being out there. I don't know. We'll see. But book preferences is the next section. First question is, what genres do you gravitate toward the most? Well, if I was live, I would let you guys answer that question and just let me see your comments scroll on the screen. Everybody knows me enough to know that the genre that I gravitate to the most is horror and thrillers. Um, Hands down. I mean, it's just my favorite. I just love it. I love being the thrill of being scared, um, like the chase. It's just the atmospheric vibes that you get from a horror book. Um, I just enjoy it. So that's what I gravitate to most. I can go on and on about it. Um, Usually when I'm reading multiple books at one time, one is at least a horror or a thriller. But that's my genre. Okay, the second question: what's a book you'll never stop recommending? Well, you can already see it is on the desk. I'm prepared for it. Um, this book 11/22/63 by Stephen King. I will never stop talking about it. I will never stop recommending it. I know people probably get, you know, tired of hearing me talk about it. This is not even horror. Um, Not even. It's kind of like misunderstood about Stephen King that everything he writes is horror. He is the king of horror, but not everything he writes is horror, and this is not one. I absolutely love this. I'll never stop recommending it. It's just so much goodness wrapped up into one. You got a little bit of time travel, sci-fi, a little bit of historical fiction, um, a love story, a little bit of violence, sense of community. It's just, it's just so good. This is one, and I'm not going to go on and on, but this is one I initially read the physical book because that's all I had. And I loved it so much. And I was just, I didn't like the fact that I was done with it. So I paid for the audiobook. I paid for the audiobook. Yep, I'm not ashamed. And I listened to it all over again for a second time on audio while I was just doing little things. It's just that good. So, a book I'll never stop recommending, 11/22/63. Please, y'all, just give it a try. Please. All right. My next question is, do you have a favorite author or one you'll auto buy no matter what? Okay, so favorite author, yeah, I have multiple favorite authors and multiple authors that I would just auto buy if I see a book of theirs that I feel safe giving it a try. Stephen King is one. Uh, there are some books of his that I haven't read yet, and some that I feel like I might not get into. For instance, what is it? The Tommy Knockers. The Tommy Knockers, is that it? That's not going to be for me. I can already tell. But usually, a Stephen King book is something that I feel safe with. Another author that I feel safe, that will be my go-to, that I will buy no matter what, is Anna Alborn. Oh, get with it. Oh, she can write. You hear me? I love her books. They will leave you feeling incomplete, but in a good way. They'll leave you feeling torn and just thinking about it for a while. I just love it. Anna Alborn. I read The Shuttering by her, and I read Brother. Both 5 stars for me. Another author that I will buy no matter what is S.A. Cosby, black male author from Virginia, actually. He is like a thriller, crime, action writer. Awesome. Oh, I have one of his books right here. I've talked about this on my channel. Razor Blade Tears. Awesome, awesome author. I love this book. It had a nice story to it. Actually made me a little sad at the end. This is good. I will buy his books. As a matter of fact, I got every single copy of his books besides except for the newest one that was just released. That's how much I like this author. Another author that I will buy no matter what is Ryan Kennedy. I have one of her books here. Kennedy Ryan. Jesus, I'm so sorry. Kennedy Ryan. I knew that didn't sound right when I said it. Um, love her books. Black female author. Love story type of genre. Um, just you feel a connection with the characters. Well written. Thoroughly enjoy her writing. Uh, what's her name? Noelle Eiley. I talked about one of her books, As for Andrea. Awesome, good writer. She's another one. And then the last one that I have, and I'm sorry, I know I have so many, but I just couldn't pick one. The last author I have up here is Nick Clausen, horror writer, mostly apocalyptic type novels. Awesome. Like I said, I put him right up there with Stephen King, except a little. I mean, I put him right up there with them. I just love his writing. His stories draw you in, and you usually get about 6 books in one. And I was just, this is one series that I read as an ebook. I was just swiping. I was just going through, and then I was like, oh, I would finish a book, and I would say, okay, how many books do I have left? Because I didn't want it to end. Those are the authors that I would pretty much buy no matter what. The next question is, which book surprised you the most recently? Um, the books that surprised me the most recently was, I would say, Razor Blade Tears, because I didn't know anything about this author and his writing and anything. So it surprised me that I really enjoyed this. It's a lot of crime in it. I enjoyed this, and then of course 11/22/63, because I didn't think I was going to get into it because it looked like it was history. No, absolutely love it. These were the two that surprised me the most. And then it said, are there any popular books you don't like? I picked Mapping the Interior. A lot of people seem to like this one when I looked at the reviews, but I can't do it. It's not even a 1 star for me. It's just no. It's just a nothing. Just DNF. Don't read. I just this one I couldn't get into it. But yes, let's move on to the next section. section is booktube journey. It says, what inspired you to start your booktube channel? Okay, I talked about this one too, and I think it was like one of my very first videos. So I really started getting back into reading consistently January 2024. And every time I would finish a book on my ride to drop my kids off at school in the morning, I would always talk to them about the books I read. So every morning I'd be like, and they would genuinely be interested, even if it was horror and that wasn't Madison's thing. You know, they would just be interested in listening to me. So I used to tell them, like, gosh, y'all, maybe I can give y'all a break and I can have my own channel. I think I can do this. I think I can just have my own channel where I just be myself and I talk about the books I read. Why not? Talked about it for so long, didn't do it. And then I finally was like, why not? Why not? And I started it, absolutely love it. It makes me happy. So that's how it all started. Just me talking to my kids about books. The next question is, how do you plan your content and reading lists? Hmm. Um, I guess being a year ahead, meaning I have from 2020 January 2024 on up to now, I have like over a year's worth of books plus what I was reading before that kind of in my head. So I do like to like I have a notebook. I have my YouTube channel notebook and I kind of like plan out what I want to talk about this week, what I want to talk about next week. And sometimes it'll just be a simple book review for something that I read because I'm always reading. Or it'll be something different like what I'm doing now, where I'm just answering booktube type questions. I sort of just sit down week to week and think about what I want to talk about or do the following week. It's no stressor, it's no um pressure or anything. I just sit down one week and think about what I want to discuss for the following week. I like to try to drop 2 videos a week or at least one. So I'll try to have two um subjects that I want to go over and I just go from there. Sometimes it changes. It just depends. It's sometimes I can just start filming and it just depends. You just never know. Um, but yeah, that's how I do it. I just jot it down in a notebook and go with it. The next question is, what's been your favorite video to make and why? Okay, with this one, I had to list it. So some of these questions I left blank because I can just answer them like this. But there were some of them that I really had to think about, and I had to think about what books and videos I've done. So I did have to jot my notes down or my answers down ahead of time. That's why I have the books here. So this one says, what's been your favorite video to make and why? Okay, I love being creative. So I would say I have quite a few favorite videos on my channel. One of them is the Twilight video. Why? Number one, is very nostalgic to me. It was a fun time. We were going to see the premieres late at night. I'll never forget that. It's just a memory that just will not go away. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the entire Twilight series. I was Team Edward. I love the stories. I love the books. I love the movies. I couldn't get enough. So when I made that video, I wanted to pull pieces from the movie and put that music in my video because I know other fans of Twilight will remember those tunes and that piano playing, and they would just resonate right away and it will take them back. It was so fun, although it was challenging because editing is not like one of my favorites. I'm getting better, but it's not one of my favorites. So getting the music in and just right um, was challenging, but it was so worth it in the end. I think the way that video came out, I was proud of myself. That's one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites, of course, is going to be the Friday the 13th video. Because why not? I love Friday the 13th. I love it. I filmed it actually in front of the poster here, my Friday the 13th poster. Um, I love horror, and that day happened to be Friday the 13th. That made it special. Another favorite I have is the Yellow White book review. With that one, um, I took the names of leaders during that time who helped other slaves get to freedom and things, and I thanked them on a specific page. with some type of like some southern hymns or things that they used to sing in churches and stuff, and I added that music to it. I thought it was tastefully done, just to pay homage to our ancestors. That book was very hard to read, but it was very important to read. So it was. I felt good putting that review together, and I hope I did it well. And then the last favorite video that I made on my channel so far is the old school book review. That was really fun and nostalgic because I went back to like those little short, they're called mass paperback books, the little short fat ones um, that you had like back in the 90s and stuff. And I went over Terry McMillan's Waiting to Exhale and Toni Morrison and Terry McMillan Mama and books like that that I read in high school. I enjoyed that. Um, I just took it way back and I thought that was fun to make. Although at that time it wasn't too much creativity added to like the visual effects of the video. It was just the content that made that one special for me. The other ones were more so the content and the visuals and how I added certain things to make sense to that book review. So I would say those would be, let's see, there's one, two, three. Those would be the top four: Twilight, Friday the 13th, Yellow Wife, and then the old school books book review. Those were definitely my favorites. All right, let's move on to the next section. Okay, the next section is bookish opinions. All right, so first question for bookish opinions is: do you rate books? If so, what does your rating scale look like? Yes, sometimes you'll notice in my books I'll say, hey, 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5. And then sometimes I don't. I'll just say, if I like it, why I like it, and sometimes I say I don't like it. Um, but my rating scale is basically 1 to 5. Um, if I really, really liked it and there's nothing I would change about it, then it's a 5 stars for me. If I really liked it and then there was something in it particular that I wish could have went a tad bit differently, or I felt like something was missing, but it's just so minor, then I'll give it a 4. If I thought the book was okay, but it was just too much description or it was just a horrible scene in it, then I'll give it a 3. And a good example of that is the book It. I think It is an awesome story. I don't have any issues with that story. It's still like one of the top of my list for my Stephen King's. However, there's a scene in it that I didn't think was necessary. There's a chapter in it where the N word was used obsessively. Um, so that's why it gets a 3. And then a 2 stars is just bad. And I think I'm just trying to be nice with the 2. And a 1 is, I'm sorry, a 1 is mapping the interior. I just don't get it at all. I didn't resonate with it at all. Actually, it could be a 0 because I DNF'd it. So just rate 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst, or possibly a DNF. Next question: what's a trope you love and one you can't stand? Okay, I have to look at my note for that. My favorite tropes are like family drama, family secrets. I want it to be very dark too. I want it to be dark. And I'm gonna tell you a good book for that. Alice Feeney, Daisy Darker. Oh, I will never forget that book. Alice Feeney, Daisy Darker. Anything family drama related, I don't know why I like it. It's just so entertaining to me. And sometimes you read it and you be like, gosh, this stuff really does happen. It really does happen. So, family drama. Another favorite trope of mine is revenge type plots. A good book for that, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, would be They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. Oh, it's about a professor who takes their revenge out on men who are horrible to women. And just, I'm sorry, reading it was so satisfying, and the scenes of the how she took care of those men who did that were just so satisfying. I'm sorry, it's gonna sound like I'm crazy, but reading it, especially the more gory and brutal it was, I was like, yes, that's what it get. Yeah, so for family drama and revenge type stuff, I am all in. I'm all in. And then one trope that I can't stand, I would say the trope that I can't stand It's enemies to lovers. I don't know. It just gets a little, I think it can be annoying because they're going through this. Well, we don't like each other, but they do phase, and it can be like 20 chapters of that. Um, and I don't know. I don't like the enemies to lovers, and I'm thinking of a book that I read, Forever Never. You guys are gonna have to help me with the author, Lucy Score. I think her writing is good. I was getting into it, but I just couldn't stand the way those characters are going back and forth. They knew they liked each other. It's just, to me, is annoying. So, least favorite trope, or trope I can't stand, is enemies to lovers type tropes. I also can't stand it when a story or horror book doesn't have any real character development. I want to have a connection with the character, and I want a good storyline behind it. I don't want to just read about somebody just being slashed and killed without some type of story behind it. Um, I just kind of want to feel like when I'm done with the book, I want to think about the characters even after I'm done with it, and even if I know they're not real, I'm wondering what they're doing, type of thing. That's what I want from it. And the next question is, how do you feel about annotating books? You know what? I'm okay with annotating my books. Actually, I write in every single one of my books. I know there's some people who they don't write in their books at all. I'm okay with that because I feel like, years and years and years and years from now, like when I'm 110 and I finally pass away, I want my kids to go back and look at my books and see my name signed there and see when I read it and see, I think it's just nice to go back and be like, oh, she read this in January 2024. And I'll tell you a little secret. I put little special notes to my kids in my books. They don't know which books have notes in them. I do. So I do donate some of my books, but most of the time when I'm donating my books is ones that I DNF or I couldn't get into. I'm not donating the special ones to me or the ones that I left notes for my kids. But yes, I have and actually ironically, this book I have a note in the back of it to both of my kids. So I don't mind writing in my books. I'm okay with that. I still like to take care of them, make sure they stay in the shelf and the pages aren't messed up. I don't mind annotating if I'm reading a book and I find, something to be worthy of being annotated. In particular, Stephen King's Pet Cemetery. Um, I think I'm going to do a video on that separately so you can see it. Have I done one? I can't even remember. But I have annotations, tabs on a lot of pages in that. That book is very heavy with grief. And I think there's some very good points that Stephen King made in that book in relation to that and how we as humans deal with it. Lots of notes in it, and I even wrote in it. So I'm fine with annotating my books as long as I still just keep them in like good, decent condition. And do you DNF books? If so, this is the last question for this section. Do you DNF books? And if so, what's your rule for that? My rule for that is my dog is my rule for that is simple. If I'm reading a book and it's just not giving for me, it's not keeping my attention. And when I put it down, I feel like it's hard to go pick it back up. Like I gotta go force myself to go back and read it. It's starting to give DNF vibes at that point for me. And I may give it, because sometimes books do start off slow, to be fair. So I do give it a few more chapters in. And if I'm still not getting into it, I'm going to DNF it. I'm not going to go into a reading slump just because I'm trying to force myself to read a book I don't like. And I'm not going to force myself to read books that I don't like just because I have a YouTube channel. So usually, if I'm just not feeling it, then it's going to be DNF'd. That I'm okay with that, and it'll be donated, and hopefully someone else will enjoy it. All right, next section. All right, next section is community and influence. All right, let's see. I don't remember seeing these ahead of time. Well, we'll see. All right, first question. How has BookTube changed your reading habits? Um, Honestly, it hasn't. Like I said previously, just because I have a YouTube channel doesn't mean I'm just going to go out here and start taking in a whole bunch of books just so I can just put out content and get all these extra subscribers and possibly get money and things like that. So if I say I'm reading 4 books at a time, it's because I was reading 4 books at a time before I picked up the camera. It's just my normal, it's my normal thing. And I won't go over that just because I have a booktube. So it really hasn't changed my reading habits much at all. If I feel like reading, I'll read, and if I don't, I don't. And same thing with posting a video. If I don't have any content or anything to post, then I just won't post. And when I do, I will. So I try not to let myself get extra stressed out. Life is stressful enough, so I don't want to stress myself out with trying to read books, as many books as I can. Let's next question. Have you made any bookish friends throughout the community? No, I haven't. No. The people that I know that are into books are my family and my friends that I know like to read. I haven't met any like booktubers or anything else in the community, or if the occasional person that you run into in a library or a bookstore that may ask you a question, but no, nothing yet. Next question. How do you balance honest reviews with publishers, relationships, sponsorship? Well, I don't. Because I don't have any sponsorships or anything like that. And as far as my honest reviews and maybe someone actually seeing it, uh, I just be myself and I just be very tactful. That's all I can say. I just be myself. I'm tactful and I'm honest. Just like with this map in the interior. The interior. I know a lot of people like this book. I just did not. It didn't. I couldn't connect with it at all. But I did say that I feel like the author, he was writing. If he was writing from the child's perspective, with that, I think that he was. Then I think he did very well with that, and that's probably why me as an adult I couldn't make that connection. That's why sometimes I can't always get into young adult. However, there are some young adult books that are written like a regular adult book that I've actually enjoyed. Um, Last question for this section. What do you hope your viewers get from your channel? Um, I hope that my viewers just get to see me being honest and myself, enjoying something that I love to do, which is read, and they get to see me give an honest review about how I feel about the books I read. And I hope that my viewers feel like they might want to be more interested in reading if they're not, or it might make them want to go out there and pick up a book, or lend a book to someone else, or buy a book for someone else. Just basically encouraging reading. I think sometimes these schools put you in a box when you're not at a certain level with your test scores when it comes to reading, and it may make you as a kid feel a certain what type of way that you may not be smart enough because you're not getting it. But I think when you give a child an opportunity to read something that they're interested in, as long as their reading is good enough, and I hope that my viewers can get that if they have small children. um, just let them read. As long as they're reading, it's okay, and it will pick up. I mean, I went off to college and I was able to excel in that, and then I went off to get my master's degree and I excelled at that. So those test scores were in my mind irrelevant. And we all know that when you're working on your master's degree, it's a lot of reading, and it's a lot of reading that you don't want to read. So I just hope that my viewers can get that reading is fun and it's okay to go at your own pace. And sometimes when it comes to children and reading and comprehending, you just may have to give them something that they're interested in. Like my son, he likes airplanes. He may not want to, he's not, may not want to read a book, but he might want to read about planes. And if he's reading a magazine about planes, then that's still reading. Um, my daughter, she reads the Bible every day. That's what she loves. She reads it every day and she does a Bible study. Well, that's she's still reading. She's still reading and comprehending. So I hope somebody else can get that from it. Alrighty. Let's move on to the next section, which I think is the last section. Okay, last section, y'all, is called Fun Light Questions. Because the last one was pretty heavy, wasn't it? At least I thought so. All right. Fun light questions. First question is if you could be a character in any book, who would it be? Okay, I had to think about this one, so I had to jot some notes down. Um, I basically said any strong character because I see myself to be a strong person, mentally and physically. So I think I tend to gravitate to those characters when I'm reading, especially like the strong leaders. And the characters I put up here were both male and female. I didn't look at it as, oh, I'm a woman, so I only need to pick woman characters. No, I picked male and female. So the first character I put up here was Stu Redman from The Stand. Y'all know I love The Stand. Oh, I just loved it. Stu Redman was a leader. He was a fighter, a survivor. He was um he was very fair and he was a good person. I think he was a great leader. So yes, Stu Redman from The Stand. Next character I would be is Jake Epping or George Amberson. If you read it, you'll know why he has two names. George Amberson from 11/22/63. Oh, he was just an all around good guy. Good guy, a leader again, strong character. I just gravitated to him. And the next one I have quite a few characters, y'all. I'm sorry, I read a lot of books. The next character I have is Lily Bloom from It Ends With Us. A reason why I picked her is because she was going through an abusive relationship, but she watched her mom go through an abusive relationship as well, but she was determined to stop it with her generation before it was passed on to her own daughter. And I thought that was very strong at the end of the book. And I know it was hard for her to do, but she did it for her child. And that's why it's titled It Ends With Us. Very impactful. Definitely the Lily Bloom character in this book. And the next character I picked was Hendrix Berry. She's from the Skyland series of this. So Before I Let Go is the first one, and then I know Can't Get Enough is the third one. But anyway, it's a series, the Skyland series, and Hendrix Berry is a character in it. Very career oriented, strong mother, um, smart, fierce, fearless. She's the type of person that makes a vision board and sticks to it and follows it. That's the type of that's the character I would be. And the next character I have is, and we're getting into like my little revenge side. The next character I have is Ivy from Perfect Ruin. You guys know I've talked about this one. Look, the girl don't play. You mess with her. I mean, what can I say? I love it. So yes, I would definitely pick Ivy. And the last one, and I don't have the book with me, is Scarlet from They Never Learn. Another revenge filled book that I was talking about earlier. She's a professor, very smart, but she don't play when it comes to women being abused. Whether it's verbal, physical, it's abuse. And I'm not going to try to get too deep into that right now, but I think a lot of people have made it seem like verbal abuse is just, oh, I just said some words to you. But if it makes your body feel defensive or makes your body feel a certain way, um, as if you were hit, then it's abuse. If you feel like you got to be like on the fence or just defensive or nervous or anxious because you don't want to have some type of altercation with them verbally, or you don't want to hear them, being verbally abusive to you. I mean, it's abuse. So this character, she doesn't play when it comes to verbal abuse, physical abuse, any kind of abuse on women, and I just enjoy reading that because I believe it wholeheartedly. Whether somebody want to minimize that or not, that's their problem. And actually, when they try to minimize it, that speaks even more volumes as to what they're actually doing. So those are my characters that I would be. Next question is, what's your dream reading space look like? It looks like a cabin in the mountains with nothing but glass windows around me and a cozy, like round bed with a fireplace and snow on top of the mountains, plants around me, and like um like rain sounds in the background, and I'm just reading with like some hot cocoa or something. That's what Jesus, I got very descriptive. I got very descriptive. See, that's why I'm getting into the writing. You guys see how I'm doing that? I think I might be on to something. But look, in regular life, on a regular day, it's literally just chilling out in one of my chairs in here that I like to read in, and just sitting back and just enjoying some reading with like some jazz music in the background, because I can't listen to regular music with lyrics while I'm reading. It interferes. But if I have like some nice jazz music in the background, and a little bit of low lighting, but enough for me to see the book, that's my reading space. What it looks like. Okay, let's see. One, two, three. How many questions we got left? Okay, so we got three more questions left. We're gonna come back and do those three. All right. Okay, the last three questions, y'all. And we're still in this fun light question section. One, two. The third question is, what's the last book that made you cry and laugh out loud? Okay. Last book that made me cry, I have three of them. Okay. And there's, like I said, I've talked about them on this channel at length. The first one I have is 11/22/63. This one definitely made me cry at the end. It's just a beautiful story. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to say, guys, it's really gonna make you think about, it's got like a little bit of deja vu effects to it. It's really gonna make you think about, gosh, have you ever met somebody that you felt like you had a connection with and you don't know why, but you're just drawn to them, but you don't know them? I don't know. It, it, it was emotional for me at the end. I wish you know what I'm gonna do so that I can get some satisfaction. I'm gonna do a spoiler on this because I'm pretty sure. I don't know how many of you are gonna read it cover to cover, but if you are, I'm gonna do a spoiler. I'm gonna put it in the comments in the title of the video so you know before you click on it. And I'm just gonna talk about this book at length. Okay, all right. This one made me cry. Yellow Wife made me cry. Um, it wasn't anything in particular. Well, I can't say that because there were some scenes in it particular that was sad, but the, the scenes that made me sad was the ones just thinking about me being a mother. Like I try to picture myself just um being a mother, seeing my son walking out on this plantation and he's carrying heavy things, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, my son's gonna be a slave. What is his life gonna be like? Is he gonna be killed before he's a full grown man? Like this is how it's like have to be. That made me sad reading it. I mean, you can't help but to read it and just put yourself in her shoes. So Yellow White for sure. And then the other book that made me sad was well, that made me cry. I'm sorry. That made me cry was Before I Let Go. It's hard for a book to make me cry. I can look at movies and cry fairly easy if it's emotional for me, but for a book to make me cry is pretty good. And this one did because all she wanted was her family to work out and her family to come back. And when it did, when she described her feelings, it was very sad. It was touching. So that's the other book that made me cry. Now the books that made me laugh out loud, and you guys know it don't take much to make me laugh, but I'm telling you, the book that made me laugh out loud was Perfect Ruin. It's not even funny. It's not even funny, but I'm telling you, the way Ivy talks in this book, I mean, it's revenge feel now. So think about her thoughts now. The way she talks in this book, it was funny. I'm sorry. I laughed out loud quite a few times reading this. And the other book, I don't have it with me. The other book that made me laugh out loud was The Coworker by Frida McFadden. And y'all, I'm going to do a full Frida McFadden video because I have read 16 out of the 27 books she's written. So I feel like I'm ready to do a video on hers. My goal is to read the others, the rest of her books before this year's out, which I can totally do. But The Coworker by Frida McFadden made me laugh a lot because you have this character in it. Her name was Dawn, and she's kind of strange. And I believe she might have been on the spectrum, which is not funny at all, by any means. I'm just saying I think she was on the spectrum a little bit. So it made how her dialogue a little like blunt and curt and abrupt. And she was highly, highly obsessed with turtles. And she would just drive her coworkers crazy with it. I mean, the word turtles is in that book. I'm gonna chat GPT it to see how many times the word turtles is in that book. She would like, and her coworkers was like so over her. So she would make like, like cupcakes for a party, right? And it would be turtle cupcakes, and nobody would eat them. And she would be like, "Did you see my turtle cupcakes? Nobody ate my turtle." I mean, it was just funny. I'm sorry. And then she would give people like gifts of like little turtles and things like that. I'm sorry. When I think about two books that make me laugh out loud, it would be Perfect Ruin and Freedom McFadden, The Coworker. Next question is, if you could only read one genre for the rest of your life, what would it be? You guys already know. If I had to pick one genre to read for the rest of my life, it it would have to be horror. I'm sorry. Um, I know there's other genres out there, but I feel like I would be missing a part of myself if I wasn't reading a little bit of horror. So that would be the one. And then it said, "What's your go-to snack or drink while reading?" It was crazy. I can't read and eat. I cannot do it. Like I see people at work and they just be reading and eating. I can't do it. I don't know why. I just sit and read when I want to read. I don't know. I just cannot do it. So I don't have a favorite reading snack. And like I said, normally when I'm reading, it's at night before bed or on the weekend if I'm just chilling out. If anything, I might have a drink, and normally it's water. I might reach over and get a little sip of water. If I'm really being fancy, then I guess I'll get a nice coffee. I don't know, but yeah, I'm really not a snacker or eater when I'm reading. But yeah, that is. Let's see. That's all of the questions, guys. We made it through all of them. Like I said, woo! If you have anything you want to ask with, for getting to know me, I'm happy to answer them. This was really fun. It was something different. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and please hit the bell to be notified. So when you guys click on the subscribe button, then it's going to turn into a bell. You have to click on that bell and change it to all because for some reason, YouTube sets it to personalized. So you're not going to get all the notifications as to when I post. So if you change it to all, you'll get all my notifications. So you won't miss anything. All right. Well, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.